You might have heard different things online about what happened at Donald Trump's property in the United States, and some of those posts make it sound more dramatic than the facts support. So let's take a clear look at what is actually known, what officials are saying, and why people around the world are talking about it. At the heart of the story, according to reports from US law enforcement and media outlets, agents from the United States Secret Service and a local sheriff's deputy confronted a young man early one Sunday morning after he crossed into the secured area of Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Mar-a-Lago is a private club and resort owned by Trump, who at the time was not at the estate. He and his wife were in Washington, D.C., according to official accounts. Before we go further, if you're watching this video and you want more updates like this, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share your thoughts in the comments. We read them and we'll respond. So what actually took place? Law enforcement officials say that around 1:30 a.m. local time, the man approached the north gate of the estate carrying a shotgun and a fuel canister. Officers ordered him to drop what he was carrying, and reports indicate he dropped the canister but then lifted the weapon. At that point, the agents fired their weapons and the man was killed at the scene. There are a few important things to note here. First, at the moment of the incident, Trump was not physically present at Mar-a-Lago, so he was not there when this encounter happened. Second, authorities have not released a motive for the young man's actions, and investigations, including an FBI inquiry, are ongoing to try to understand why he did this. It's also worth saying what didn't happen. As of now, there's no verified evidence that this was a coordinated terrorist attack or that any larger group was involved. Rumors online that describe it as a plot involving organized terrorist conflict. But the key thing to keep in mind is that, at least in this specific event, officials are treating the case as a security breach that was stopped by law enforcement rather than something like a widespread attack. Now, you might be wondering why people in different parts of the United States or other countries are talking about this so passionately. Part of the reason is simply that Donald Trump remains a highly polarizing figure, someone whose name sparks strong reactions whether you're talking about politics, policy, or personal safety. And because this incident happened at a property closely associated with him, it naturally becomes a focal point for discussion about everything from Secret Service protection to political violence. Take a moment and think about how you would explain this situation to someone in your own community, especially if they'd only seen the social media claims. Would you focus on the security response, on the lack of a confirmed motive, on the broader political coordination with local law enforcement? So when someone attempts to breach that environment, it immediately triggers serious questions about risk assessment and response time. In this case, officials say the response was swift. The Secret Service agents reportedly confronted the individual quickly and issued verbal commands before the situation escalated. That rapid reaction is likely what prevented a more complicated outcome. Another key aspect that cannot be ignored is the investigation into motive. When someone takes such a drastic step, authorities typically look at multiple factors: background history, online activity, possible affiliations, and mental state. So far, reports indicate that no broader conspiracy has been confirmed. The FBI is said to be reviewing evidence to determine whether this was an isolated act. Until that process is complete, any strong claims circulating online should be treated carefully. And here's where it becomes especially important for viewers in Nigeria and across Africa. We've seen how quickly narratives can shift depending on who is telling the story. One headline can say terror plot, another can say isolated incident. And before long, people are reacting emotionally without clarity. That's why separating verified facts from speculation is crucial. According to law enforcement briefings, this was a single individual who approached the property with a weapon and was stopped. Beyond that, investigations continue. Moments like these also remind us how political figures remain symbols far beyond their own countries. Donald Trump, whether you support him or not, remains one of the most recognizable political names globally. So when something happens connected to him, it becomes international news almost instantly. And because politics in this encounter, regardless of political positions, that fact alone brings a layer of seriousness to the discussion. Authorities will be examining whether warning signs existed beforehand and whether anything could have been prevented earlier. These are difficult but necessary questions that follow incidents like this. If you've made it this far in the video, I appreciate you. And if you value balanced breakdowns like these, not sensational, not exaggerated, go ahead and like the video, subscribe if you haven't already, and share it with someone who wants clarity instead of rumors. Your support helps this channel grow responsibly. As investigations move forward, more details may emerge about the timeline, the background of the individual involved, and any security adjustments that might follow. For now, the confirmed information tells us that law enforcement intervened. Quickly, the former president was not present at the location, and authorities are continuing to investigate motive and circumstances.